That's right. We are back to the ELEV8 podcast.
Welcome.
Hey, yeah, welcome. Axeman behind the computer over there.
Shout out to Axeman.
Oh yeah, Axeman's he's got some sick shoes though. I'm telling you what, he went to a local store here. I'm telling you.
Yeah, he should be on this side of the camera.
Dropping that Bitcoin over there.
Yeah.
He's crazy. But look here, if you like any of this podcast today, we don't have a fee. ELEV8's our only sponsor. We're going to say it the way it is, the truth.
Real AF.
Yep. We're going to keep it real. And guess what? We don't have a fee. We're not asking you to join anything, pay $1. We're not asking you for any of that. All we're asking you to do, if you get anything out of this podcast, makes you laugh, you cry, it hits you somewhere, so it has some sort of value to you, share it, subscribe, and like it.
And make sure you guys follow us on our social media pages too. We have Facebook, Instagram. We have an Instagram for the Performance Lab itself, for the podcast. And we actually just started to Elevate the Mind, which is going to touch on a lot of things that we talk about here. So make sure you guys go follow all of that. Absolutely. So you guys stay tuned and update it with when we upload, what we're going to upload. And also comment any suggestions of what you guys liked, what you didn't like, who you guys want to see on here, what you want to hear us talk about, all that good stuff. We'll really appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely. Last thing about the Axeman, man. My man walked in with some Starbucks tonight.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, I paid for it, but
well, you know what, the buck. He got some. I don't know who he got over there.
Yeah, he should have paid for it. Looking at our shoes, I think he should have paid for them.
Dang, like come in with the LV bag and everything, just for the headsets. Just for the headsets. They're probably monogrammed too. I know he's over there talking with, I forget that dude's name, Peso Pluma or whatever. He's doing something like crazy like that. Probably got Bad Bunny and that Jenner girl over there too, talking to them, trying to cut a deal.
Yeah, he's big in the music, so.
Yep. Hey, so Danny, we're going to talk about this today. It's a subject that a lot of athletes go through. I mean, we'll go through it in life as well. We might have it's the only way you're going to taste success.
Yeah.
It's the only way. And everybody's going to have to go through adversity at some point of their lives. Okay? We all are. You had adversity your senior year in high school. I had adversity in college. We're all going to face it. You may have adversity in a relationship. You may have adversity, with the podcast engineer.
In business, every aspect of life.
So we're all going to face it, and you should want that adversity because that's what's going to make your success even sweeter. So, in addition to that, you should never want the easy road. The easy road is going to give you a hard life later on. Take the hard road because it's going to give you an easy life down the road.
Yeah, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. It's going to happen.
Absolutely.
And once you accept that and understand that you will face adversity, you will fail, you will get hurt, you will lose, then it becomes easier to fight against that adversity, right? Because a lot of people face adversity and failure and decide that that's where they quit. That's their stopping point.
Yeah, I mean, how did you deal with your shoulder adversity,
So yeah, my type of adversity, I faced a lot more, but I guess the biggest one that we're talking about now is the injury in high school. I was doing pretty good. I was looking to play college ball. I was excited, having fun. And when I least expected it, just get hurt. I mean, it's inevitable. When you're putting your body through that much stress, things can happen and they will happen. So I suffered that injury, and my immediate thoughts were, okay, like I said, it's over. Mm-hmm. You have fear, you're anxious, you question things and people, and you start thinking about what ifs or what could have been. So there's different coping mechanisms. I went through a depression for a little bit. I'm a religious guy, so I was questioning God and why he put me through this. But I remember the moment when I told my girlfriend, I said, hey, I'm going to play baseball again. I don't know how I'm going to do it. I don't know when, where, or why. I have that feeling. I lost all purpose and drive. I had been doing baseball for 14, 15 years of my life, and then shipped away from me like that. So that was 3 months after my injury. And you go in cycles, you go in and out of that drive, at least for me. But eventually, without me realizing all that work that I was putting in that commercial gym, staying healthy, staying fit.
Oh, you were doing all that bodybuilding stuff, weren't you? Yeah.
I was staying fit. I was staying active, and it paid off.
Three sets of 10 on everything. Okay, and then?
Until failure.
Yeah. Oh, my bad.
So without me realizing, I was actually setting myself up for when that opportunity knocked on the door. And I'm very grateful for having that mindset, for being able to understand that it happens to everybody. And you kind of have to get over yourself and say, okay, let's just go back to square one.
Which is what?
Just doing the work.
Which work?
I mean, I was going to the gym, so I was staying healthy.
Okay. So once you decided that, okay, I need to do the work, where did you end up going?
Came back to the lab.
Okay. So you came back to ELEV8.
Yes.
Could it potentially be because of the culture and the knowledge that's around here? Everybody being like-minded versus a commercial gym. You can see bodybuilders, power lifters, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, versus those true athletes that are coming to the lab. Because, you were working out. You said it yourself. Right. I was working out at a commercial gym. There's a difference between working out and training, working out is, what you do at some of the commercial gyms. Mm-hmm. Training is what you do at ELEV8. You train with an intent and a purpose. And,
definitely. I mean, a huge difference. Working out at the commercial gym, I was actually I told you I was watching C-Bum and the Trent Twins.
Oh, yeah.
Trying to get 42-inch biceps and tree trunks for legs.
Well, that comes down to a scientific thing,
Yeah.
Just ask, what was the name of that guy? The whatever's, the guy that they exposed, what was his name?
Liver King.
Yeah, that dude. Yeah.
That guy's natural.
Yeah, he's really natural. Yeah, okay. But he came clean. I get it. He was making money, whatever, but I mean, that's a different topic for a different day. Just okay, you're on stuff. Okay, big deal. Whoopee. Okay, wow.
I still like him.
Yeah.
I don't care. Yeah. Everybody's on it.
Yeah.
But, so yeah, I definitely did see that difference. I mean, here at the lab, you have like-minded people, like you said, and you feel that competitiveness within each other, and you're pushing each other to your limits. You have the same goals. So you're kind of in a discourse community. I learned this in college, something valuable for once.
Rocks and music, okay.
Yeah. So a discourse community is a group of people that have the same goals, same vision, and they all work together to reach that goal.
Like-minded culture.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. So that's what you have here. I mean, working out at that commercial gym, you don't have that same drive. You don't have somebody pushing you to, go one more second on Big Bertha. You don't even have Big Bertha at those commercial gyms.
Yeah.
So coming back here was huge for me. And I came back because I trusted. Mm-hmm. I trusted it. I mean, I came here my sophomore year.
I really wish if our engineer would actually put up pictures of what you look like, 117 pounds soaking wet with army boots.
That's Army boots. Picture. We could do that.
Yeah, and some change in your pocket. 117 pounds, X-Man.
I'll send him the picture.
Talking like he was going to go play college
105.
ball.
117 is generous.
Oh man, and those big thick black glasses, he thought he was rocking, bro.
So I went from a 105 kid going to a commercial gym doing 10 sets of 30 on bicep curls to here where my game elevated. I mean, I just skyrocketed. So then I got hurt, stopped coming, went to the commercial gyms, and I knew that the right thing to do was to come back here. And you even helped me with that adversity side of it, the mental aspect. You shared that you kind of went through the same thing. Mm-hmm. So I kind of want to hear what you went through. How did you overcome your adversity? What were you thinking? What happened? What was that struggle like for you?
So yeah, it was pretty brutal, man. I was 1,500 miles away. I was in college. Threw a curveball, elbow snapped. Tommy John had just been invented. So basically I went to Dr. Andrews. They shipped me out to Dr. Andrews in Birmingham, and he said it's 50-50 chance. So me being out there on the East Coast, I'm like, let's do it. Let's do it. Whatever it takes, let's do it, because it's my only chance. I didn't want to go home. So either do the surgery and work at it, or go home. So I did it. And the naiveness or the lack of information that we have the lack of information I had in order to explain to my mother, I was just like, I was in Dr. Andrews' office, because the doctor that we had, our team doctor, he actually studied under Dr. Andrews. So he referred me to Dr. Andrews. Again, Tommy John had just come out, 6 months earlier. So
Crazy.
yeah, so it's back in the roaring 20s. But Dr. Andrews is like, hey, you got a 50-50 shot.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know. I mean, everything's in beta testing as far as rehab and everything else. But I can tell you, you're going to throw again. We just don't know if you're going to get back your velocity.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, okay. So I did it, and I was sitting in his office. I said, Doc, can you just go ahead and let me get my mom on the phone, and can you tell her what you're going to do to my elbow? And he's like, yeah, sure. He put it on the phone. So I call my mom. Hey, this is going to do. Put a couple of ligaments in there, make it strong again, be ready to rock and roll UCL. All right, so we did it, and that's what we did. And so we moved on, and so I'd go to practice, and I'd see the guys. I couldn't do anything for it's been so long. It was probably 2 months they didn't let me do anything. It's changed now a lot. Like I had my arm in a sling, I had a cast, I had the whole nine. Then I had to go back, get the cast taken off, and then I started my rehab. So when I started my rehab, it was super slow.
Yeah.
It was like 18 months. Now they do it in 6. Trial and error. So now they do it in 6. So it actually took me to learn how to drink. I learned how to drink in college because of my elbow. And that wasn't a good thing. So depression hit. You spiral down big time. You spiral down. I'm 1,500 miles away, a brown kid, on the East Coast in the late 80s. So you're just like, wow, like it's different. It's different. And so, when I went for my first checkup, Dr. Andrews said, be aggressive with your training. At that time, I had already started drinking. So I was like, okay. So, and I was depressed. And so when I brought back the plan of action that we were going to take with my trainer in school, I told the trainer, I said, look, Doc said full steam ahead. So when the team was in the weight room at 5 a.m., I was in the weight room at 5 a.m. So when I would go with the boys to train, I'd only do legs because I couldn't do upper body. Mm-hmm. So and then I would do my arm work after. And then I'd go at lunch by myself. And then I'd go after practice because I went to every single practice. So then I'd go after practice so I ended up overtraining by accident. But it wasn't accident. It was my mental health. Looking back on it, that's what carried me through. It got me away from drinking, got me away from the party life. And that's what propelled me to get out of it. And it was crazy. So I was with the guys every day. Mm-hmm. So I was training with them legs. I couldn't train upper body. So that helped me mentally. I was getting up early, so I had to stop the drinking. The only thing I was focused on was rehab and school. And that was it. Because I knew if I didn't pass, I wasn't going to play. So those were two things I focused on, 100%. And I started climbing out of that dark space.
So we kind of went through similar experiences. I like to say that I'm grateful for what happened to me because now I've learned that, this is your vehicle and you got to take care of it.
Oh, absolutely. 100%.
There's obviously a lot more that I could have done to prevent that. But now I know that. Mm-hmm. And at the time, it felt like, why right now? This is literally the worst time for this to happen. But no, like, I'm just fine.
Yeah.
And it's better that it happened sooner than it did later in my career because now I get to use the rest of my years that I have left playing to to learn from that experience. Would you say that you kind of had the same idea? Are you appreciative of what happened to you?
At the moment, no, I was mad.
Right.
I was mad. So I was like, I was insane in the weight room. Insane. I hit it hard. I just wanted to come back. There was no other option for me. Years later, decades later, I look back at it now. I was like, I needed that adversity.
Mm-hmm.
I needed that. Because that wasn't, the man's plan. The man had a different plan. And the last 9 years, I know what that plan was. I've told you that I've talked to several different people as to why ELEV8 was put here. We've talked about that. As to why the different people I spoke to in Laredo that, some have passed away and that kind of thing. But that reflection I had on those years in college when I was hurt taught me that, hey, the hard road will give you that easier life down the road. So I took the hard road, and a lot of the stupidity was on my own fault, right? So, you're 19 years old, dude, 1,500 miles away from home. I mean, get hurt, now what? I'm thinking the worst. They're going to cut me. They're going to take my scholarship, and that's it. You're going to go home.
Yeah, that's all you had to your name.
Yeah. And
baseball.
Baseball. I mean, it's a tough pill to swallow, but I'm glad I went through it because it prepared me for what was to come, other adversity in life, and then had other adversity. Then I had an uncle pass away. Then I had another uncle pass away. Then I had another uncle pass away. Then, a cousin passed away. I mean, so then it snowballs, but it prepares you for the next step. And that's what you learn from it, right? And that adversity is good for you. It's good for you.
Really
you should never ask, why me? It's give me the strength to overcome. It's what it needs to be. Give me the strength to the man. Hey, give it to me because I can deal with it.
It's all about perspective.
Yeah. But we always want to blame the man.
Right.
Why me? Why now? Why today? No, you should embrace that because we don't control that.
I'll admit, I did the same thing.
Yeah, we all do.
I asked him, I said, why me? I would compare myself to others and be like, I worked so much harder than this kid.
Yeah.
They went off to play. I like to believe that I'm a much better person than they are. Why did you put this burden on me? Yeah. I was mad at him. I questioned him.
Yeah.
But you flip that perspective and you realize that he blessed you. God blesses you with adversity.
Sure.
Pressure is a privilege.
Sure. And there's people that run from it, man. They look at the people that, we're not going to name names, but some people I know that, smoking all the time, vaping all the time, and they think they're cool. And they're athletes and they think they're cool. And the reality is that they're not. And I'll be the first one to tell you. Those kids that think, oh yeah, I'm cool, vaping, the blue light, whatever, 3 lights or whatever the hell that shit works. What they don't realize, those are Chinese made. And when those dudes drop dead at 30, oh yeah, remember that person would vape all the time? Yeah, okay. Well, I remember that dude George from ELEV8 said, oh man, wait till they drop when they're 30, when they die. Mm-hmm. What happened to them? It was COVID. It was the
COVID.
Yeah, it was
19.
the C19. It was the C19.
Got a good engineer.
Yeah,
all right.
Yeah, he'll take that out. It was a C19. So yeah, so that's real, man. Because before that C19 hit, the CDC was all into that. That was a big deal. Those vaping things, man. Mm-hmm. That was a big deal. And then COVID hit, and then vaping went to back seat. Once the C19 came around, it was done. They stopped talking about it. So, but anyways, getting off a little topic here, but the adversity, these people that I'm speaking of, and they do that stuff because they can't cope with the adversity. They don't know how. They don't know how. They're afraid to look at the mirror and take inventory. And that's hard. I mean, there's men today, grown men, 50 years old, that can't look in the mirror and tell you. There's 60-year-old men that can't look in the mirror and take inventory of themselves. They just keep making bad choices and bad decisions, and it doesn't ever get better.
Yeah, so we're just talking about injuries, specifically in athletes, but there's all sorts of adversity.
Sure, absolutely.
Right, so you got the injuries, obviously. You have doubt, you have anxiety, all these other things that people feel and experience. Let's do doubt. You're talking about these grown men that, you know, can't go on with their daily lives because of doubt. They look in the mirror and they don't like who they see, but they don't do anything about it.
Well, yeah, they may have faced some adversity when they were younger, right? They face that adversity when they're younger, and they think, oh my God. So I mean, look, I had a alcoholic father, so that's a specific gene, and I have that. I make a choice whether or not I want to drink. That's my choice, right? So, do I drink every night? No. I mean, that's a choice I make. But there's people that have, let's say, drug addict parents or addictive personalities that fall back on that. No, well, my family was, you know.
Yeah.
And so, again, that goes back to not looking in the mirror, checking their inventory and saying, okay, here is what I need to work on. And it's hard to do, man. It's hard to do when you look at yourself in the mirror. You're 60 years old, you're 62, and you don't have anything to fall back on. I mean, you know, they say, you know, most Americans in their savings is less than, you know, $5,000. I mean, it's crazy, but that's reality. And so, learning how to cope and deal with that. And you just said it right now, like depression. You know, what is depression? You know, there's people that cannot let go of the past. Why? Let it go. Cope with it. Well, how do I cope with it? Let it go. Let it go. It doesn't affect you in what you're doing today. Be in the now. Be in the present. Anxiety. Why are you thinking of the future? It hasn't happened yet, but you put a story to it and you put an ending to it and not in your favor, and you get anxious. Now, in the athletic world, and I can tell you, I worked with somebody that would always freak out when they got to the start line. Okay, always. And so it was simple. It was like, the reason you feel that way is because you feel like you haven't done the work to be in that race. So you start freaking out. You start getting nervous. You start getting anxious. But let me ask you. And I asked him, I said, let's talk. So I outlined some stuff for him, and we went through it, and each race got easier. Each race got easier and easier. And he went off to go run college, and every day just got easier. But I showed him how to cope with it and how to deal with it. And a lot of it has to do with, you know, being able to cope. A lot of people don't have those coping mechanisms. You know, they don't know how to cope. You know, some people have these awesome Camaros and stuff, and you know, they pull out in the middle of the street and they get banged up by some little, you know, Toyota truck or a Honda truck or whatever. You know, you have to be able to cope that your badass car just got smashed, and it's hard to swallow. That's like your car. You understand? But you have to be able to cope with it. And how do you cope with that? You know, do you get out of the car and beat the hell out of the guy that hit you? No, you just cope and deal with it, and you move on. Let it go. It's like I've always thought it was hilarious how people react to other people, like during road rage and stuff. Like people will shoot the bird at them, and then they come into work all pissed off. Like, man, that person shot the bird at me, and they crossed me, and this and that. They didn't put a blinker, and they're all mad. And I'm like, really? You're giving that much power to a person you don't even know? That's funny. A person you don't even know you gave that much power to. Look at yourself. Are you okay? They're like, what do you mean? Look at yourself. That person's not even thinking about you. But you gave that person all that power to overtake.
It all goes back to what you said. Everybody has a choice. And a lot of people choose to make an excuse out of that. Right? Oh, my parents were this, so I became the same thing.
Yeah. But your parents, look, yeah, I'm yeah. Your parents are going to teach you two things, man. Okay, so this is going to get real right here. Axeman may even take notes on this one. This is going to get real right here. Your parents are going to teach you two things, and they're very simple things. What's right and what's wrong. When you walk out that front door at your house and you close that door and you lock it, all right, they've taught you two things. What's right and what's wrong. The rest is your choice. You're on your own. You're on your own. They've taught you what was right and they've taught you what was wrong. The rest is on you. It's that simple. They're not out there, if you're out partying in the Camaro and, everybody's smoking it up, drinking it up in the car, and then you get hit by a Land Rover. That's not, you put yourself in that position. Now deal with it. But don't drown yourself in it. You have to learn to overcome that adversity. Again, embrace that adversity, run with it, give it to me, and I'm going to show you how I'm going to come out on the other side.
Yeah, don't make an excuse out of it. Choose to embrace it, like you said, and make something out of it, right? I like that it also adds a cool aspect to my story. I think I told Alex this. Mm-hmm. Nobody likes a story that's all sunshines and rainbows. That makes a story boring. When I tell you that I got hurt and I had to overcome that injury,
sure,
now it's interesting.
Absolutely.
Now it's cool. But then it's not a story if I got hurt and quit. There's no story to that.
Sure.
But because I got over that injury and because I continue to progress, I can later tell this story and it's entertaining and it's valuable because I chose to make something out of that injury rather than to quit, cry about it. Oh, I could have gone to go play college ball, but I didn't because I got hurt. Nobody wants to hear that. That's boring. I don't care.
Yeah, we'll try that in about 30 years when you have a child. And you try that one on, oh, well, you quit. You didn't even try to come back. But we don't think that far ahead. I mean, you think about it, in 11 years, you're going to have a kid. And guess what? When you try to push your kid, well, you didn't do it.
But daddy, you didn't do it.
That's right.
That's powerful. You said that a lot, and I really like that thought.
Yeah, because, I mean, think about it. Stop and think. We don't think 3, 5, 10 years ahead. We don't. Mm-mm. We think about today. Oh, I'll be ready for tomorrow. Well, we're not guaranteed tomorrow anyways. But the adversities we have today, we take them, we learn from them, and we move forward with them. Because you see that lion, those lions, all those scars on their face. Mm-hmm. Yeah, those are battles they've fought in.
That's a chapter in the story.
Yeah, and that's what you want, and that's what you want. You don't want it again. What did you say? Sunshine and what?
Rainbows.
Rainbows. Yeah. You don't want. I mean, come on now. Come on. I mean, you're probably gonna see me one day with crutches because I need the knee done, I need the hip done, I need all of it done, but I'm not going to cry about it. I just got to do what I have to do in order to do the things I do on a day-to-day basis, and you hammer it away. I'm not there sitting, but I learned to cope with adversity. You learn to cope. You learn how to deal. Give it to me. You know what? Bring it on. I'm ready to go. Bring it on. I'm ready to go. And I don't ever question it. It's something you have to go through. Remember, there's a plan. So
I just want to emphasize that example that you used about a kid asking their father figure or mom, when you're pushing them, when you're asking of something from them, and they say, oh, but you didn't do it.
Right.
Or why did you do this differently? You said that people don't think about 10, 20, 30 years from now. Right now, you're becoming a role model for your future children.
What I like to call is you're writing your legacy. It's like Axeman. You know, God knows how many podcasts he's done, but this one's special.
Special. It's the first one.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Axeman got some experience. You never know. He goes down to Mexico and do his thing down there. Never know. Probably traveled to Vegas. Probably going soon too. Axeman likes to do a little gambling, I think. But
yeah, doesn't even know how. But put it all on black.
I don't know. Bro. Black.
Put it all on black, bro.
Hey, you just never know. Hey, your bag's black too. So
take black shoes, black underwear, black socks, black glasses, everything.
No, he got them white ones now. He's smooth now. But point is that you need those coping mechanisms. Okay, don't blame your past. Your parents are only going to teach you two things: what's right and wrong. The rest is up to you. So don't blame them. Yes, we have their genetic makeup, but that doesn't mean that you make bad choices because of those genetic makeup. Mm-hmm. Okay? So just because I have that, what is that, addictive personality or addictive gene, doesn't mean I go eat all the time or drink all the time. You know, I had an uncle that was 500 pounds. You think he liked food?
Probably.
Yeah. They held him in the morgue for like 2 weeks so they could get a pine box big enough for him, special made. True story. I told you we're gonna keep it real now. Told you. I mean, I think there was about 12, 15 of us carrying that thing. Yeah.
Kind of want to laugh, but
no. Hey, but again, he made choices, right? He made his choices, right? And he was in the military, so go figure. He had that mindset. He was around that culture, that positive, go get 'em attitude, But you get lazy. How do you get lazy? Life is short. Like, it's too short, man. It's too short, and you don't do the things you need to do while you're here. Tomorrow's not guaranteed. So make it happen. If you wake up in the morning, you are blessed. So go after it. Go do what you've got to go do to handle your business. Stop scrolling on that phone.
Oh, that's huge.
Over and over. You get those weekly updates. How much were you on your phone? Up or down 5%? That's, up 5 hours, down 3 hours. Like, you know what? First thing when you wake up, don't look at your phone for 2 hours. Don't look at your phone. I mean, don't look at it. Don't. Let's see if you can do it. I mean, if you can't do it, really, how mentally weak are you? Because why? It's going to put poison into your brain, and you're going to start thinking of doing other things other than things you have to do.
We rely on it too much for that dopamine. But I used to think of life that way too, but I think that saying life is too short for me had too much of a negative connotation. So I say life is short. I mean, life is not short. You just got to do more. So you said just get to it, start doing things. Life is too short. Kind of the same concept, but it has that idea, just do more. Right? Go out there and do what you dream about. Go out there and do what you talk about, Right. It's only a dream until you wake up and actually do it. That's why it's called a dream, because you're asleep. You're just talking about it. You're thinking about it. But until you actually do something about it, then it'll come true. Well,
yeah, that's, goal setting. That has a lot of other variables that go into play when you're talking about that. One of the major things that you have to learn how to do is execute. A lot of people don't execute, man. Why do you think? I mean, I was talking to somebody the other day talking about, wanting to purchase a franchise, right? Wanting to purchase a franchise. And guess what happened? They're just scared to go get that loan to start it. Why? Why are they scared? Don't be scared.
Adversity, doubt, anxiety.
Well, they have to doubt it themselves. They
what if it doesn't do this?
What if? What if you don't walk out your front door and you get hit by a freaking plane that falls out of the sky?
Same
what
risk.
If? What if?
Same risk.
What if? There's too many what ifs. Just Just go do.
Mm-hmm.
Just go do. Get up. You're blessed. Make it happen. Tomorrow's not guaranteed, but we all act like it's guaranteed. You know, the funniest thing is like some people are, I'm not going to say everybody, but there's a lot of people who are afraid of dying. What they don't realize is the day they were born, they already started dying. They're one day closer to death. So, what are you afraid of? Just go do.
And I relate to those people. I struggle with that a lot less now than before, but that's because, like you said, we set these goals that seem so out of reach because you want to get them done tomorrow. But you talked about, setting those goals.
Right.
Small wins. Mm-hmm. Small wins accumulate.
Every day.
Win. Make your bed in the morning.
It's a win. It's a W.
Stick to a diet. Work out every day.
Yeah.
Go to sleep early.
Mm-hmm.
Stack up those wins, and eventually you're going to accomplish inevitably what you wanted to do in the beginning. But if you say, okay, tomorrow I need to start $1 million business, it's not going to happen.
Yeah, good luck.
With this podcast, executing, making this, it was, okay, George, let's do it. What if this? What if that? I said, bro, let's just buy the equipment. We'll figure it out. And guess what? We did. Same thing with me reading books. I hate reading. At least I used to hate reading. But I found things that I like to read about. But guess what? How much more likely am I to read a book if I have it in front of me than if I don't?
Right.
100% more likely. So buy the book. Just buy the book. If you say you're going to do something, just do it. You're more likely to do it and to accomplish it by actually acting on it than just by thinking about it. So go out there and challenge yourself, right? You don't like reading books? I didn't like reading books until I found something I like reading about self-development. How could you not like developing yourself?
Well, there are people out there that don't want to develop themselves.
Well,
that's fact.
To everybody else,
that's fact.
Does.
That's fact. I mean, I could tell you stories about people, high school athletes. Oh, they come here and I'm going to go D1, this and that. Next thing I know, I hear that they got arrested. They're doing, smoking vape and they
were strong for 2 days. 2 days strong, and then they stopped coming here. I'll take their sessions, by the way. So I mean, talk is cheap, man, and that's what a lot of people do on social media. What do? You talk via, typing, which is weak. It's also what you see on the posts. Like, not all of that is real, and that's why it's such a big problem that you said, waking up and the first thing you do is check your phone.
Why though?
And you're scrolling on Instagram and getting this dopamine hit.
Why do you do that?
Psychological.
Okay, so explain to me why psychological. Why is it that? Why is it that important when the Axeman wakes up, he's got to get on that Instagram?
I think it ties back to the addictive personality that you were talking about. And I think I'm most likely correct that not everybody in this world, the 8 billion people, were born with that trait, right? It's impossible. But you create this addictive personality on yourself, and it destroys you. You're scrolling on there. You said, 5, 7, 8, 10 hours scrolling on your phone that you could have been doing something else. Even if you say drop 30 minutes of screen time every day and read 10 pages of a book, you are going to be so much more ahead of your competition if you do something productive rather than to scroll on your phone. And even if you are scrolling on your phone and you're getting valuable content, you still get that same dopamine effect of when you say, oh, I'm going to do this. You get that same dopamine release than when you actually do something. So I don't care if you're watching, super educational and motivational videos. That's fine, but don't overdo it. Get what you need and do your.
But not within the first 2 hours that you wake up.
Do your stuff.
There's studies out there. I mean, Huberman talks about it. He talks about that. He talks about, don't get on your phone. Sun comes out, go outside, walk for 10 minutes, get sunlight with no sunglasses. Just get some sunlight. Get that cold showering, get that cold plunging. Hey, get it going. But I understand things change. I understand. I get it. But a lot of it has to do with the environment at home. what is allowed for them to do. Like most athletes that I know, like I talk to some parents and they're like, well, he doesn't want to get off the phone. He doesn't. Take the phone away at 10 o'clock. Take it away. Take it away. He gets it in the morning. Why aren't those athletes training? Why aren't they hustling? Why aren't they in here busting? You know? Why? Because they're too busy. They're too distracted with too many other things. You know? And that's fact. And that's fact. Why? Why? And I keep asking why? Why? And it's because they're allowed to do it. They're allowed to do it. Oh, it's because little Johnny's got a phone. So? Does this mean your kid has to have a phone? You know, they're in 4th grade, 5th grade with phones. Like, really? Like, what are we doing here?
That reminds me.
The kids in China are learning about engineering and nuclear
physics.
Yeah, nuclear physics and everything, taking people to the moon and stuff. And here we are with TikTok. You know? I mean,
looking
come
at
on.
People dance and.
I mean, come on. You know, they're sending our people, the Chinese people, sending scientists down to Mexico, teaching them how to do fentanyl. Why? We're buying that stuff. We're addicted to all that stuff. You know, look at those influencers around the world. Australia, England, Italy, all those influencers around the world. Think about that. There's a lot of influencers in Bali too. So think about all the influencers around the world. Guess what they all speak? English. Why? Because they know Americans are going to be scrolling. Facts. Facts.
Wow.
Yeah. That's what they do. Why? Because they know those Americans. Look, just think about it. Okay, like right now it's, late at night. Right now it's in the morning over there in Europe. Okay? So at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, their time, guess what's going to happen on their feeds? They're going to start posting, good morning, how are you? You get me?
Yeah.
They say good morning to who? The United States of America. That's how it rolls. Just take a look. Just observe. But why? Why do you feel the need? You got to get on that. Why do you feel the need that you have to get on it to, I don't have social media, so that's why, that's hard for me. The only social media I have is, whatever the lab has and all the different platforms we have. And that's somebody taking care of that. So, shout out to Alyssa, she's doing all that on the back end.
Shout out.
Yeah. So, I don't, like, that doesn't intrigue me. Like, it's whatever, It's whatever.
Well, going back to what you were talking about with the, with the parents and their kids.
Yeah.
That reminded me of something that Jordan Peterson says in his book, 12 Rules of Life. One of the rules is don't let your kids do something that you don't like. Right. Which is, if you don't like them being on their phone so much, then don't let them do it.
Look, one of the biggest things, and I'm not going to say names, just I don't want to hurt people's feelings, but somebody came to my place and was going to eat dinner. And sat down, nice meal, whatever. They had the phone out, scrolling. I said, whoa, time out. I took the time to put this together. You're going to take the time to eat and not be on your phone. So give me your phone. Got the phone, put it in the basket. Wasn't on the phone. Like, that's so disrespectful not to adhere to your company that, you're on the phone.
And you see that a lot.
Why? Because the parents allow it.
I work at a restaurant.
Yeah.
And I go up to these families. Everybody's on their phone.
Yeah.
They're not even paying. They don't know my name.
Yeah.
I say, hey, everybody, welcome. My name's Danny. I'll be taking care of y'all tonight.
Yeah.
They don't know my name. They're on their phones scrolling.
Exactly.
I actually got a really rude family this weekend.
Yeah.
And it just comes to show you that it all falls on the parents.
Why were they rude? Let me see.
So the daughter was on their mom and daughter were on their phone. Kids were saying a bunch of bad words, screaming, yelling, talking over me. And I'm just there trying to take their order. Taking their order should take 3-5 minutes at most with the family. Took more than that. And that, that wastes my time. So that shows, first, like you said, they don't value the time and effort that I'm putting in to take care of them.
Sure.
Like you were with
lack
the
of
person
respect
at dinner.
Lack of respect.
And so that just creates bad energy.
Sure, absolutely.
It's super rude. It's a bad habit. And like you said, why do we need to do that?
But why did they allow it? Why did the parents allow it? See, it's like the obese kid. You know,
they were pretty overweight.
Is it the kid, the 12-year-old that's going to HEB and buying the food? No, it's the parents' fault. Mm-hmm. But the parents are not going to look in the mirror and say, and what the parents' simple solution is what? Get the, you know, the lap band or whatever surgery. That's how they're going to fix it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that leads back to, you know, there's a lot of obese kids that have an adversity because they're bullied at school. But the parents put them in that situation to lose. They didn't put them in a situation to win.
Yeah.
And then they bring them here to the lab to lose weight. And guess what? Guess where they go after here? Because I've heard them on the phone. Yeah, I want McDonald's. Okay. Like, seriously? That's terrible. Like, go home and cook. Like, for real. Like, oh my God, don't even get me started.
I've also experienced the complete opposite, though. I'll go up to tables with little kids, super respectful, super nice. They say hi, call you by your name, say thank you, please, all that good stuff. And
far and few between, I bet you.
Yeah. But it goes to show both sides of this story, right? You can teach them and raise them to be one thing or the other.
Sure.
And the parents are quick to blame the children, but they don't want to look in the mirror, like you said, and take responsibility, take accountability for what they've created.
Sure, absolutely. It's all on them. You know, it's like, you know, if the adversity on the obese kids is caused by the parents, but the parents will never take responsibility for it. You know, but after little, you know, Katie had the little game, you know, where do they go? Oh, a little McDonald's tonight because, you know, it's late. I'm not going to cook. Yeah. But then it happens all the time. And little Katie's playing soccer, you know, all year round. Guess what? You're going to be eating McDonald's all year round. And so, and that's the sad part, because it's not so much, you know, it is obesity and what they eat and the bad choices they make, but it's the parents, because the kids aren't the ones going to the store and buying. But when you think about it, and I'm not going to get into this, but it really comes down to it's a lack of muscle development. They don't develop the muscle. They don't, because they're not disciplined enough. They're not creating positive habits. I mean, it's a lifestyle, you know?
Well, talking about this just right now made me think how parents or, you know, guardians or whoever's raising these kids, they're willing to put their children through that adversity of bullying and being made fun of, neglected, you know, all these things that have a big burden on children with their naive brains. But they're not willing to put them through positive adversity.
Sure.
Like put them in a sport. They're going to fail in a sport. They're going to get made fun of in a sport, but that gives them room for growth. And bullying, I mean, you get over it, but where's the growth?
Well, yeah. So there's adversity in business as well, right? When I first started ELEV8, oh, Laredo doesn't have the money. Oh, Laredo this, Laredo that. Hey, you're going to fail in the first 6 months. That came from my own family members.
Wow.
Yeah. So, you know, you face that adversity even from the get-go. Even you didn't even say anything about it, and they're already talking like that. But you just keep going. You keep going because you don't worry about those things. You know you're capable of. You know what you can do. Just go execute. That's all you got to do. Have a plan. Have a strategy. Execute. That's all you got to do. It's all you have to do to overcome that adversity. But you got to have a plan to start with. And that's what a lot of people don't have. Again, I was telling you earlier, talking to somebody about a franchise. Well, you know, this and that. Well, you know, I think I'm going to wait. Oh, well, you know. What are you waiting for? Christmas? I mean, hey, you're young enough to make money and you're young enough to lose it, but you can make it back up. So,
and you have a lot less to lose when you're younger. You know, you say that you need the plan to not have that doubt. And I see it as setting a foundation for yourself in the future. You also talked about the athlete that you talk about experiencing that self-doubt before those races.
Sure.
But if you set that foundation for yourself all throughout your journey, when it comes to signing off that deal, closing that $1 million deal,
right,
or when the gun goes off and you got to
Right.
Sprint out of there. If you have a strong enough foundation, there is no doubt, there is no anxiety, there is no what if or, oh, I should have done this, because you've already set yourself up for success, right? Through that adversity, through whatever. It's important to set that foundation for yourself.
So it comes down to the capacity of work that you did in order to attain what you're trying to attain, which is first place, right? So you got to put in all that work. Once you put in all that work and you put in the work, all of that goes away. All that adversity, that doubt, that anxiety, that depression, it all goes away. Why? Because you're prepared. And once you're prepared, it all goes away. What is to worry about? What? What are you going to worry about? Nothing. You've done the work. Okay, you got 10th. Doesn't matter. You gave it your best. But you did all the work. So what do? 24 hours? Or let's say you win the championship. Rest 24 hours and get to work on Monday.
Back to it.
Yeah. Give it 24 hours of celebration and move on. It's over and done with.
Yeah.
That's like one of the local high schools here took it as far as they could in baseball. Okay, so you got spanked in the last game. Okay, recover on Sunday, go to work on Monday.
Back to work.
Yeah, start grinding it back out. And I was pretty impressed that some of the kids I hadn't seen in a while came back. Because they're getting ready for next year. Yeah. But it's like your off season is going to determine your season. Okay, your off season will determine your season. What you do in your off season will determine your season. So all these guys that came back and are ready to go, props. They're getting prepared. They're beginning to overcome that adversity before it even starts. Why? Because they're going to put in the work. Once they put in the work, their confidence level goes up, their self-esteem goes up, and everything in their life aspects goes up.
And I guarantee that if they were still coming in here during the season, because that's a thing, working out during the season
but they'll realize that once they get to college, if they go to college, that you're going to be working out every single day. And they're just not at that level because the high school coaches don't encourage that. Yeah.
But so if they understood that, I guarantee that they would still be playing right now. But
yeah,
that ties into not getting so caught up in those losses, but also not getting too caught up in the wins and the highs.
But remember, they're not losses, right? They're just learning.
Well, I mean on paper.
Right.
It's an L on paper. So they're winning. I don't need to go to work out. Obviously, I'm good enough. Right. But then they face this school and...
good enough compared to what? Good enough compared to what? And that's a problem. You see, you're never going to be good enough. You're never going... Let me say that again. You will never be good enough. Jordan, Kobe,
they all missed a bunch of shots. They could have been better.
I think Jordan missed
90,000, I think.
Yeah.
So he could have been better. He could have missed 89,999. But
yeah. So point is, you're gonna fail. You're gonna face adversity. It's how you cope with it. I'd rather cope with it in a positive light. Do things that are positive in order to get you. Be consistent with the positive thoughts, the positive culture, positive mindset. I always say PMA, positive mental attitude. Gotta have that. Why am I going to think negative? You've got to visualize these things. There's a lot of different methods you can use in order to get to that level to where you don't worry about those things. Okay. So, you're going to face adversity, overcome it, do the things you have to do. That's why I'm doing the ELEV8 mindset class on Saturdays. It's just, 8:00. I'm doing it over the summer at 8 because why? They're going to be able to elevate their mind. It's something that nobody works on here. Exactly what you just said. They think they're, they're district champs. Ooh, really? Ooh.
Go to San Antonio.
Yeah. Pass checkpoint 29 and let's see.
Yeah.
Yeah. And exactly. I mean, look what happened this year. One school got knocked out by San Antonio team. The other school got knocked out by the Valley team. Guess what? You weren't as good as you thought you were, are you? See, so, which is sad because Laredo does have that talent. They have that pool here. And sometimes I feel like they don't execute the plan the way it needs to be. There's schools that do, hour and a half of PFPs. Why don't you do 3 hours of hitting? Something you haven't been able to do in the last 7 years. Like, seriously? Like, it's like Tiger Woods would say. There was a point in Tiger Woods' career that he was hitting everything. I mean, but his weak game, and I don't recall exactly what it was, but he had a weak part of his game, and it might have been chipping. Okay, mm-hmm. So what did he do? After 18 holes, he wouldn't go hit drives or wedges. He'd go chip for an hour after he played 18. If you like the content, if you like what we're doing, like it, subscribe, and share it. We're not asking you to, join some type of, $1 fee. We're not charging anything.
Completely free.
Yeah, it's free.
Why not?
But if you get value out of what we're talking about, definitely share it.